1995 heavy rock albums, still in the transition of alternative rock and the infant stages of nu metal, with some artists riding the coattails of the trends and others being totally oblivious and not giving a fuck. I'm going to start off with a band that's definitely not going with the trends, in the tradition of Pantera. Here's the band Down with the album Nola, Elektra Records. This would be the band's debut album, as well as their best-selling album. Down is mainly a side project consisting of vocalist Philip Anselmo of Pantera, guitarist Pepper Keenan from the band Corrosion of Conformity, guitarist Kirk Winstein from the band Crowbar, bassist Todd Strange, and drummer Jimmy Bauer, both of Crowbar. The style of the album would be considered stoner rock and southern rock. And the single for the album would be the song Stone the Crow, which there's also a music video for as well. Down supported the album with 13 show dates. The album went number 57 on the Billboard 200 of 1995, and most of the tracks on this album are still played live. Number 2, Van Halen, Balance, Warner Brothers. This would be the band's 10th album, as well as the 4th and final album fronted by Sammy Hagar, as well as the final album to feature bassist Michael Anthony performing an entire album with Van Halen. This album reached number 1 on the US Billboard 200 in 1995 and went triple platinum in 2004. The song, The Seventh Seal, was also nominated for a Grammy for Best Hard Rock Performance. The singles on the album are Can't Stop Loving You, Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do, and Amsterdam. The album production is pretty big and comparable to the previous album, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, yet the guitars sound a little heavier. Number 3, Geezer with Plastic Planet on TVT Records. This would be the debut album by the band, featuring Black Sabbath founding bass player Geezer Butler, his nephew Pedro House on guitar, drummer Dean Castronovo from Ozzy, as well as Burton C. Bell on vocals from Fear Factory. The track, The Invisible, is featured on the soundtrack to the movie Mortal Kombat. Detective 27 is a song reference to Batman. The song, Giving Up the Ghost, was written about Tony Iommi still using the Black Sabbath name. And there's a music video for the song, Drive Boy Shooting, which does not feature the band in the video at all. The style of the music on the record is mostly alternative metal, industrial metal, and groove metal. A much more modern and heavier sound compared to what he's done in Black Sabbath. Number 4, Ozzy Osbourne with the album Osmosis, Epic Records. This album also features Zakk Wylde on guitar, Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath on bass, and future Journey drummer Dean Castronovo. The album style of this record is similar to the previous album, No More Tears, but it does fall secondary in quality. The songs Perry Mason, See You on the Other Side, and I Just Want You were released as singles. Some of the writing credits on the album, besides Zakk Wylde and Geezer Butler, are also contributed by Lemmy Kilmister and Steve Vai. The 2002 reissue features the songs Amy and another track called Whole World's Falling Down. This one's co-written by Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades of the band Damn Yankees. The album received mixed reviews at the time, but at least it went double platinum. Number 5, Black Sabbath, Forbidden, IRS Records. This would be the band's 18th full-length album and final album to feature the Tier lineup, with bassist Neil Murray, keyboardist Jeff Nichols, drummer Cozy Powell, and Tony Martin on vocals. The album was produced by Body Count guitarist Ernie C. and features a cameo by Ice-T on the track Illusion of Power. The single for the album is the song Get a Grip. The album received negative reviews by fans and critics alike, as well as the band. The production and final mix of the album seemed to be subpar compared to the previous releases. However, in 2024, the album has been remixed exclusively for the box set, Anno Domini, which also features the other 3 IRS record releases. I highly recommend that box set, which I've done an unboxing in a previous video. Number 6, Fear Factory, D-Manufacturer, Roadrunner Records. This would be the band's second album, which features groove metal, thrash metal, and death metal influences, as well as industrial. The song Replica has a music video, and several of the songs of this album are still featured live by the band. The album does feature samples for the movie Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Supposedly during the making of this record, while the band was in studio, their instruments were interfering with Bon Jovi, who was recording in the same studio next door. Imagine that collaboration. The reviews for this album were very successful. The band gained a lot of fans, and also captivated audience at Ozfest. Number 7, Caius, and The Circus Leaves Town, Elektra Records. This would be the fourth and final album by the band. This is also the only album to feature drummer Alfredo Hernandez, who replaced founding drummer Brant Bjork. The album's only single and video are for the song 1 Inch Man. The reviews of the album are very positive, but lack the commercial success as their previous albums. Shortly after the album's release, Caius disbanded, with members forming bands such as Queens of the Stone Age and Slow Burn, for example. Number 8, Alice in Chains, Columbia Records. This would be the band's final album to feature frontman Lane Staley, and the first full-length album to feature bassist Mike Inez. And to fans, this album is also known as Tripod, or the Three-Legged Dog album. This grunge masterpiece still made double platinum status. Still not as successful as the previous album, Dirt, but almost as good and very diverse. Other releases from 1995 that I'd like to toss in: Crowbar, Time Heals Nothing. Their third album, still as heavy as the previous releases, yet equally as good, but more overlooked. Anthrax, Stomp 442, Elektra Records. This album features the band as a four-piece for the first time. The departure of guitarist Dan Spitz. Not as well received as the previous album, Sound of White Noise, which also features John Bush on vocals. The album does feature a few music videos and singles, and two of the songs feature Dimebag Darrell on guitar solos. Megadeth, Hidden Treasures, Capitol Records. Pretty much a rarities compilation, songs taken from movie soundtracks, tribute albums, and whatnot. It was actually one of the first Megadeth CDs I've owned, and in my opinion, this is probably some of the best Megadeth material during this time frame. And I don't mean any offense whatsoever to the Euthanasia album from the year before. That is actually a really good album. Motorhead, Sacrifice, CMC International. This is the final album to feature the four-piece lineup, where guitarist Wurzel left the band, and Motorhead remained a three-piece ever since. This album is good but not great, but in some ways it sounds a little heavier than some of the previous releases. The title track, Sacrifice, is pretty much a badass driving song. And thank you for checking out Mean Street Journal. Until next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good shit. Also check out Mean Street Journal on Spotify. And visit TeePublic for Mean Street Wear for some offensive apparel and merchandise needs. See ya.